I attempted a playthrough of Pokemon Platinum where this is absolutely not allowed, but this is, because all of my Pokemon are only allowed to have one move at a time. And also, it's a hardcore Nuzlocke, but I'll get into specifics on that as we go. I start the run by picking Turtwig because, well, I'm tired of all the Turtwig slander. I mean, he looks like he's wearing one of those propeller hats. He's impossible to hate. I named Turtwig Crush, and as we go through the nicknames, let me know when you figure out the nickname theme. I'll be impressed if you can get it within the first 10 nicknames. The first rule of Nuzlockes is I can only catch the first wild Pokemon I find in each route. So in Lake Verity, I find a Starly who I name Kevin, and on Route 202, I find a Bidoof that I name Rocky. Playing with only one move isn't too tough at the beginning, since you're usually just trying to do the most damage each turn. But when my Pokemon level up and learn new moves, I have to start making decisions on what gets kept and what gets deleted. Here I kept Absorb over Tackle because of the stab bonus, and I get HP back. I make it to Jubilife where I take on my rival. Of course you got tougher. Bro, you got your first Pokemon 15 minutes ago. How much tougher can you be? Kevin takes out his Starly and Chimchar with wing attacks, which is good because the second rule of Nuzlockes is that if any of my Pokemon ever faint, they have to stay dead forever. Now it's time for a few more encounters. I catch an Onix in the Orberg Mine named Chunk, and a Machop on Route 207 named Alberto. But my most important encounter is a Psyduck in the Orberg Gate named Ducky, who is the lead Pokemon as I take on Rourke, the first gym leader. I choose Ducky because of Water Gun, which is more consistent than Turtwig's Razor Leaf, since Water Gun can't miss. My additional Nuzlocke rules are that I can't be higher leveled than the gym leader before I start the battle, in addition to no items in battle and playing on set mode. One Water Gun takes out Geodude, and Psyduck gets a Quick Claw proc to one-hit KO Onix. Finally, for Cranidos, Psyduck gets another Quick Claw proc, but he can't one-hit KO. Ducky is completely safe though, and Cranidos goes for Leer anyway. That's a damageless first badge. I caught a Kricketot named Hopper, who evolves into Kricketune, and also get evolutions into Grotle, Bibarel, and Staraptor. Staraptor gets the ability Intimidate now, and abilities like this are absolutely crucial in this challenge. Since each Pokemon can essentially only do one thing, having an ability that does a second thing is great. My professor and his TA give me a lecture about research, and then the game gives me a very fitting gift. A fashion case. You know, some say being smart is in style. You know, that's definitely something people say out loud to each other. The next thing I need to keep in mind is everyone's favorite mechanic, HMs. Since HMs take up a move slot, that's the move that Pokemon is going to be stuck with for a while. Good thing HMs aren't notoriously terrible. I catch a Zubat named Manticore and a Magikarp named Bruce next, who I can immediately turn into Gyarados. Those are my first 10 encounters. Did you figure out the nickname theme yet? If so, let me know in the comments. My next obstacle is Commander Mars and her morbidly obese feline. But first, Rocky can take out her Zubat with Headbutt. For Purugly, I can switch in Staraptor to lower its attack, which is beneficial since it only knows physical moves. Purugly goes for Fake Out, so I couldn't have attacked anyway. Then I switch to Gyarados for a second Intimidate, so I can switch in Onix, and Purugly's attacks do almost 0 damage to me. I can outlast Purugly with Rock Throws and beat Mars with no problem. Next, I catch a Pachirisu named Remy and a Buizel named Cuddle Party. In the Eterna Forest, I have a choice of Wurmple or Bunnyary, and I choose what is literally the less sexy option in Wurmple, who turns into a Dustox named Heimlich. If you watch a lot of Nuzlocke videos, then you probably know how good setup moves like Swords Dance and Nasty Plot can be. Well, setup moves are completely useless for this challenge. If a Pokemon did have a setup move, it would be its only move, and could never attack or baton pass or anything. So this will be a good challenge to see if I can win without using any stat boosts. Time to take on Gardenia. But first, I teach Pluck to Kevin as his one move instead of Wing Attack, as it does the same amount of damage, but does have a bonus effect. Unfortunately, Pluck doesn't hit the range on Turtwig, who uses Reflect. The worst case scenario for me. It's actually good that Gardenia heals up though, so I can stall Reflect turns by slowly killing Turtwig. You'll see that sometimes Pokemon will learn a second move through leveling up in battle, but there's nothing I can do to prevent this, so I'll just never use that new move. I only need to pluck Cherim once before Reflect wears off. and can knock it out with a full power Pluck. Against Roserade, Pluck knocks it out in one hit, and we get the second badge. I make Pachirisu my HM user for Cut, and my first actually challenging fight is against Commander Jupiter and her Skuntank. I use Bruce to lower her attack, but even with Poison activating Guts, I can't knock Skuntank out before I'm dead to crit. I have to switch back into Bruce, which gets Skuntank to -2 attack, but a Night Slash crit and a Poison force me to switch again. Rocky saves the day by using Hyper Fang, but I'm starting to feel the hurt from only having one move. Imagine taking on 5 straight Elite Four battles with locked moves. That's not gonna be tough at all. Cynthia gives me Egg, and I catch a Geodude named Lava and a Bronzor named Mater. In Hearthome City, Egg turns into a Togepi named Nemo, and I also get an Eevee named Eve. God, can you imagine what BB's monthly electric bill is? I mean, she's like mining Bitcoin in the corner or something. At least turn off your TV if you're not gonna watch it. Now we take on Fantina, sending out Cuddle Party for Duskull. Buizel evolves into Floatzel and learns Crunch at level 26, which is perfect timing, since Crunch with Dreadplate equipped always one-hit KOs here. She also kills Haunter with a Crunch, but Fantina sends out Mismagius first. Some of my Crunch rolls kill here, but she can kill me with a crit, so I decide to play it extra safe. Nemo is safe, so I switch him in, but he gets confused since I don't have Person Berries available to me yet. I try to Encore Mismagius into Psybeam twice, but I hit myself in confusion both times. I'm definitely dead now, so I switch into Bruce to take a hit, and he gets the 10% confusion chance. Then, Bruce takes a Shadow Ball and hits himself in confusion. Why did the RNG gods punish me for playing it safe? Now I switch Kevin safely into a Shadow Ball, but he of course gets confused on the next turn. Finally, I get a hit through confusion, and she eats the Citrus Berry. Now I can switch back to Cuddle Party, who is safe to Mismagius' moves, and Crunch will always kill. Cuddle Party now outspeeds and kills Haunter, and we win. That was some of the absolute worst RNG luck I've had, but thankfully I played out of it. On my way to Hearthome, I beat Barry by using super effective moves, and caught a Rosalia named Roz, a Ghastly named Joe, a Ponyta named Bullseye, and a Kadabra named Presto. Now I'm on to Veilstone to take on Maylene. Manticore is super fast and can knock out Meditite with Wing Attack, but can't knock out Machoke. Rock Tomb will never kill me, but it does lower my speed. Luckily, I'm so fast that even at -1, I can outspeed Machoke. I am slower than Lucario now, but I can't die, as evidenced by a crit Metal Claw that leaves me clinging to life. Wing Attack does fine damage and doesn't proc the Citrus Berry. Now I switch to Chunk, and finally get some good RNG as Metal Claw misses. This is huge because now I'm able to safely lower Lucario's speed with Rock Tomb. The incoming Metal Claw has a chance to kill anyone on my team, so I make the decision to sack Onix and get a free switch in. Staravia gets an Intimidate off, and goes first because of Lucario's lowered speed. Pluck was intended just to eat the berry off of Lucario, but a crit actually just ends the fight. Guess my RNG was the opposite of the Fantina fight here. Next, I catch a Houndour named Doug, a Girafarig named Jerome, and I spend way too much of my life trying to get a Hippopotas in Maniac Tunnel. And this dude just stood there and watched me. Actually, he stood there and watched the wall. That's so weird. What is he, some kind of maniac? Oh, yep, that makes sense. Lava has a bit of a close call against Barry, but we come out unscathed. Pastoria is also where the move reminder is. So, with heart scales available infinitely through the underground, I can now change up my Pokemon's moves as I see fit. Wakes up, so I grab a brush and put a little makeup with Remy, my only electric Pokemon. I could finally remove Cut and give Remy Discharge, which kills Gyarados in one hit. With only an electric move, I need to switch out for the ground type Quagsire. Crush's speed is lowered on switch in, allowing Quagsire to yawn me before I can take it out with a Razor Leaf. I did have the option to put Mega Drain on Torterra, but as a physical attacker, I wanted to make sure I took out Quagsire in one hit. Crush can also one-hit KO Floatzel, but is slower and dies to an Ice Fang crit. So to play around it, I switch into Nemo, but I miscalculated, and now Nemo will die if I stay in. I switch to Joe for a Hypnosis play, but he gets frozen, so that plan is out. Now I don't have a choice but to play into the crit, so I send out Remy again, who luckily doesn't get crit by Crunch, and takes Floatzel out with a discharge. I'm really trying to play around the crit, but it is not working for me. In Celestic, Cyrus interrupts my spelunking and debunking sesh with Cynthia's grandma. Cyrus's Sneasel gets a crit on a frozen Alberto, but he says Silencio Bruno and thaws out to kill it with Vital Throw. Remy takes out Golbat and Murkrow to end the fight with no deaths. Now that I can surf, I catch a Magnemite named the Claw in the Fuego Ironworks before heading far west to Canalave City. Once again, Barry is super easy, and I can take him out with stab super effective moves. The 6th gym leader is Byron and his Steel Pokemon. Crush can take any attack from Magneton, and since Magneton doesn't have the Levitate ability, even though it clearly should, Earthquake connects and kills. Earthquake won't kill Steelix though, so I switch into Ducky to take an Ice Fang, and one-hit KO with Surf. Last is Bastiodon, so I switch into Hippowdon, who has a Focus Sash in case the AI clicks Metal Burst. Bastiodon goes for Iron Defense, which is unfortunately the only way I can't win the battle on the next turn. Earthquake isn't a kill now, but it should be next turn unless it uses Iron Defense again, and it did. I'm at least safe for one more turn, so I use Earthquake, and I'm saved by a beautiful crit. Bye, Ron. I get Egg 2 from Riley in Iron Island and beat both the commanders at the lakes. Now it's time for the frozen journey up to Snowpoint, just like Queen Elsa in my favorite Pixar movie, Frozen. Upon my arrival, I can take on the 7th gym leader, Candace. And boys, you know what I'm gonna ask. Can this joke die, please? Sneasel is faster than Alberto, but won't ever kill him, so I can use a decreased priority move in Vital Throw to knock it out in one hit. Frostless is out next, so I switch into Doug, as Frostless goes for a Blizzard, which misses, but wouldn't have done much anyway. Houndoom is a great counter for Frostless, as it beats both of its typings, and Houndoom can ignore double team accuracy, because Feint Attack can't miss. It's also a 2-hit KO with Black Glasses. Next out is Piloswine, so I pivot to Ducky, who doesn't even die to a crit, and kill it with one Surf. Ducky is using the Choice Specs, which significantly boosts your special attack, but locks you into one move. I think I'll be fine being locked into one move. Finally, on Abomasnow, I tank a grass move with Bullseye and knock it out with Flame Wheel. Very much a team effort here, but this is the point in the run where the challenge gets exponentially harder. Cyrus is easy here, but Commander Saturn actually gives me some trouble. I thought I'd be totally fine switching into a Poison Jab here to take out Toxicroak, but well, I was wrong. It didn't even crit. I released the Lake Guardians, but now I need to climb Mount Coronet to enter the Distortion world. In order to get there, I need to use the moves Rock Climb, Surf, and Strength. That means I need 3 Pokemon dedicated to those moves, and I won't be able to change them since I don't have access to the move deleter on top of a mountain. So that leaves 3 spots on my team, and I need to consider fights with Mars and Jupiter and a really hard Cyrus fight. I decided to bring Rocky with fittingly Rock Climb, Jerome with Strength, and Ducky with Surf. For my non-HM homies, I choose Remy with Discharge, Bullseye with Flame Wheel, and my newly hatched Mr. Incredible with Aura Sphere. I Rock Climb, Surf, and Strength my way up Mount Coronet and take on Mars and Jupiter with my rival. Bullseye's Flame Wheels take out the Bronzors, but Skuntank would have killed me if it crit with Poison Jab. Mr. Incredible switches in to knock out Perugly since he's used to destroying some thick thighs. Unbelievably, Barry is actually helpful here by taking out the Light Screen, although I would be dead to crit again here. I switch in Ducky to take out the Golbats, as well as Barry's Staraptor with Surf. Into the Distortion world I go, and I end up getting completely lost in here because I refuse to look up the correct path. No, I definitely remember how to do this, he said repeatedly for 30 minutes. Cyrus is no joke, but his Houndoom is, which Ducky takes out with one Surf. For Gyarados, I need to get in Remy, but if it uses Earthquake, I'm toast. So I pivot through Jerome, who unfortunately I have to sack for a safe switch in. Good thing dead Pokemon can still use HMs. I switch in Remy, who kills Gyarados with one Discharge. Weevil is going to fake out, so I can switch to Mr. Incredible easily. He takes an Ice Punch and retaliates with a deadly Aura Sphere. Honchkrow means back to Remy to take a Heat Wave and Discharge, but it's a range that doesn't hit. Luckily, Night Slash doesn't crit, and we can take it out. Remy is slower than Crobat, so I have to switch to Rocky on a random move. I'm okay with risking a crit on Rocky, so I can stay in and do some extra damage. And I get a confusion on Crobat. I go back to Ducky to tank a cross poison and knock out Crobat. With Cyrus done, I almost forget that I can just run away from the god of space and time. But now, our galactic problem is over. In Sunyshore City, I can take on the final gym leader, Volkner. Jolteon starts with an Iron Tail on Crush, who launches a super powerful Earthquake. Crush can also take a Signal Beam safely from Raichu, and kill it with Earthquake as well. He doesn't even have to tank a move to kill the super slow Luxray. Electivire is an issue though, so I switch into Lion Sleeps. Equipped with a Rostberry to prevent an attack reduction, he takes some Fire Punches and takes out Electivire with his Earthquake. That's all the badges in Sinnoh. To get from Sunyshore to the Pokemon League, I actually need 5 HMs. Surf, Waterfall, Rock Climb, Rock Smash, and Strength. Heimlich takes on the Strength role from my fallen Girafarig, and I decide to bring Lucario along in the one remaining spot. Luckily, Victory Road isn't too challenging in this game, or so I thought. Against an Ace trainer, Rocky got crit by an Earthquake and died. And against one of the mandatory fights, I didn't know Porygon Z had an electric move, killing Bruce. In that same fight, I had a ton of close calls. Actually, I almost wiped, as pretty much my entire team was barely alive. If not for a miss from Tangrowth, I absolutely would have lost more Pokemon. In hindsight, maybe only having Water, Normal, and Fighting moves wasn't the best idea. Thankfully, with only 2 losses, we make it to the Pokemon League. First, I have to take on my rival though, who's kind of a pain in the ass. I have to stall out Rest PP on his Snorlax, before performing my usual super effective sweep on the rest of his Pokemon. Now comes the absolute hardest part of this challenge, the Elite Four. And of course it's the hardest part, right? Well, this is incredibly hard because I won't have any chance to change my moves. Whatever I choose to bring, I am locked into for the entire Elite Four run. After a ton of planning, this is the team I decided to bring. First, I decided to turn my Eevee into a Glaceon and use an Ice Beam TM. I really need ice moves to deal with Cynthia, and this is my best option. Next, I have Bullseye the Rapidash with Flame Wheel. I could choose Flare Blitz here, but the recoil could really end up hurting me. We also have the Claw, since electric moves are always helpful, but really this thing is an incredible tank for pivoting. I'm also actually bringing a second fire Pokemon, Doug the Houndoom, but it's because of its utility as a dark type attacker. Fifth, I have Ducky, a strong special attacker with Surf, which is an unmatched option. And finally, Manticore with Aerial Ace. She had Fly for most of this run, but the 5% miss chance scares the hell out of me. I really prioritize consistency over power. With 6 total Pokemon and 6 total moves, can I beat the super tough Platinum Elite Four? Let's find out. First up is Aaron and his bugs, so this is Bullseye's fight to take. With an Expert Belt equipped, Bullseye can outspeed and one-hit KO Yanmega. It can also do the same to Vespiquen and Heracross, and it absolutely destroys Caesar. Aaron does me a huge favor by sending out Drapion last, since Bullseye does not have a good matchup here. However, the Claw is an amazing counter for Drapion, since poison attacks don't affect it, and even the moves that do affect it are basically non-factors. One Choice Specs Thunderbolt is all it takes to secure the first win. The only thing I can change between fights is items, and for Bertha and her ground Pokemon, I take the Choice Specs from the Claw, and I give them to Ducky. Whiscash is out first, and as a water ground type, Surf is a good range to kill, but it's not a guarantee. I survive any retaliation though, but I don't really care because Surf does kill. The rest of Bertha's Pokemon are weak to water, so Surf can immediately take out Bertha's Gliscor, her Golem, and her Rhyperior. Hippowdon puts up Sand, which Ducky ignores thanks to its Cloud 9 ability. Ducky also takes out Hippo to sweep Bertha. Third is Flint and his fire Pokemon, and again, Ducky shines here. Ducky can outspeed and one-hit KO Houndoom, Infernape, Rapidash, Magmortar, and Flareon to take out Flint with just Surf. Golduck is so underrated. Fourth is Lucian, and he's significantly more challenging than the other fights. Luckily, I do have a dark Pokemon to nerf the threat of psychic moves, but it's certainly not all rosy. Doug can handle Mr. Mime with 1 Black Glasses boosted Dark Pulse. But our first issue is Gallade. Because of Gallade's dual fighting type, Dark Pulse certainly doesn't kill, and its Stone Edge on me is a guaranteed kill. So I switch to the Claw, who takes a Stone Edge with ease. The Claw is a great pivot to Manticore, since Gallade now sees a kill with Drain Punch, a move that Manticore can handle. If I had gone straight to Crobat, I would have died from a Stone Edge. Manticore outspeeds and kills with Aerial Ace, thanks to the Expert Belt. Espeon is out next, and since Manticore is part poison, Espeon can kill with Psychic. This gives me a completely safe switch into Doug, who can kill with a Dark Pulse. The second major threat is Bronzong. Doug can't kill here, so I switch into Ducky. Bronzong goes for Calm Mind, which by itself is okay, since Choice Spec Surf will still be a 2-hit KO. Unfortunately, it goes for Calm Mind a second time, and now Surf definitely won't kill. I need a physical attacker now, and Bullseye and her fire moves are the perfect candidate. Bronzong can kill me with the crit, but I planned for this worst case scenario by giving Rapidash a Focus Sash. Bronzong doesn't crit me anyway, and I can knock it out with a Flame Wheel on the next turn. Next is Alakazam, and I can safely switch back to Doug on a Psychic and win the fight with 1 final Dark Pulse. Okay, now it's time to take on Cynthia, and hopefully my move choices continue to have success. First out is Spiritomb, and although Doug can't one-hit KO, he'll almost always win this matchup. His only losing condition is a Silverwind Omni Boost, but Cynthia goes for Dark Pulse instead, so I can knock it out on the next turn. Next out is Milotic, so I switch from Doug to the Claw to take a Surf. The Claw safely takes a second Surf and knocks out Milotic thanks to the Choice Specs. Garchomp can kill with either Earthquake or Flamethrower, so going straight to Eevee or trying to pivot through Crobat is a 50-50. Since I shouldn't need the Claw anymore, I decide to sack it for a safe switch in. Now I can bring in Eve, who safely takes a Dragon Rush and knocks out Garchomp with an Ice Beam. Fourth is Lucario, who sees a kill with Aura Sphere always. It has a few rolls that kill with Stone Edge too, but I really thought it would click Aura Sphere here. So I switch into Bullseye, and it rolled Stone Edge. Now my Lucario counter is dead. Thankfully, Ducky is an okay alternative, as Surf 2-hit KOs and it's always safe to Lucario's moves. A second Surf takes it out. Roserade is up now, and Ducky being out actually works out great. That causes Roserade to go for Energy Ball, which Manticore heavily resists. A special defense drop doesn't even matter, as Manticore can outspeed and one-hit KO. Finally, Cynthia sends out Togekiss. Since it's the last Pokemon, there's really no sense in switching, as I can do some damage before getting a safe switch in. Aerial Ace does some solid damage, and a second one would prevent healing range too, but a Shockwave crit stops that plan short from happening. I send out Ducky to do some additional damage with Surf, but Cynthia gets a second straight Shockwave crit. Eve does have a super effective move, but I decide to send in Doug since he can outspeed Togekiss. Unfortunately, Cynthia does the most annoying thing by healing up. I actually could be in a lot of trouble here. This trouble is confirmed when Dark Pulse likely won't even be a 2-hit KO. A second one puts Togekiss in the red, but Aura Sphere is a ton of damage. Thankfully though, it doesn't crit. Cynthia decides not to heal a second time, and Doug can finish the fight. Man, that was so close at the end. But we did it, and that is how I beat a hardcore Nuzlocke of Pokemon Platinum with Pokemon that only know one move. If you aren't subscribed to the channel yet, you should change that. Also, if you liked the video, you should like the video. Hey, now I get why they call it that. I appreciate each and every one of you for watching this video, and until next time, take care.